Hi, Aquarius. So you're not going last. You're in the third group. I think there's only one other sign. Okay, you're kind of going last. Not really. But you went first last time, so it's fine. So, what's going on? I was thinking we'd do this super intuitive, just see what comes up. I have a general feeling of what's been going on with you guys, which is just like really having to push through with whatever truth you're being shown and what's like the world is hitting you in the face with and going, you need to look at this now. You may have encountered situations that literally have made you have to re-examine. But more than that, I don't know what to say. I really am curious to see how the cards read your energy. So first card out is the Devil card. So obvious stuff would be the Capricorn in your life, or someone who is exhibiting some sort of deep spiritual influence on you, not necessarily in a good way. This could be the destructive influence of a friend. It could also be the destructive influence within you that you are being asked to look at. Something that I think Capricorns do quite often. And although no one else may realize it, they're always kind of mitigating that within themselves to stay on the right side. And Aquarius does not have that same skill set. This is not a natural place for you to be. And so for that to be the first card out means that you're definitely feeling like you are under the influence of something that is not necessarily you. So the influence of a friend, the influence of a lifestyle, the influence of your past. Now, this is also that voice in our heads, like we've talked about, that makes us loop about things, that makes us obsess about things, that this is the voice that tells you that whatever has happened because you're not good enough. It's also the voice that tells you that you can treat people however because they're not good enough. You know, this person, this is a liar. You know, this energy is of the deceiver, right? Now, does that apply if there's a Capricorn in your life? No. If there's a Capricorn in your life, they're just coming up as the card they are, which may, in many ways, be hurtful to you. The way a Capricorn naturally is can be almost the antidote to the Aquarius. Because where Aquarius is kind of okay with the flow of life and learning how to live with the beautiful flow. You know, Capricorn is like, right, can you move a little? I'm pouring some concrete here. We're going to put a road here. Drive really fast cars on it. You know, the Aquarius is like, okay, that's really not how my vibe, you know. So if you are being encountered by someone, you know, like this, who's like, yeah, you know, F your vibe, buddy. This is about my vibe. You got to take a look at that. Are you being overpowered by someone? Spiritually, personality-wise. Are you picking up bad habits, bad traits from others? And then the Six of Wands and the Five of Cups. That strange feeling of being stuck between moving forward and looking back. When you look back, it's not necessarily in a positive way anymore. This person is rather ambivalent. Yeah, it's not really that it happened and that I miss it. It's just that it happened and it spilled. You know? This is more about someone being stuck here, not because they were so in love with the person or so in love with the relationship, but because of their own ego. They can't believe that the cups associated with them have spilled. This is about someone being stuck in their own cycle of self-pity. So if you're, you know, cross-watching and you're thinking, oh, this person, this Aquarius is thinking about me. No, this Aquarius is thinking about themselves. If you are an Aquarius and you're watching this and thinking, I do feel that Five of Cups energy, ask yourself if you're ready for this And that really at this point, this is something you're indulging in to keep yourself from moving forward. And why would you be indulging that Five of Cups energy? Quite simply because it's easy. A more complicated answer than that would be that it gives you a sense of worth to reminisce about something that you tried at and that you feel like through no fault of your own kind of fell apart, which is naive because everything, you know, we contribute to everything that happens in our life. But the focus still, the center card still remains something very, very positive, and that's you moving forward and moving on. Moving on from, let's take a look here, okay? Moving on from what exactly? I just want this light on the cards. Moving on from this. But can you completely move on when you have this regret of having done this? You see how this traps you into kind of this cycle? This cyclical thinking that you can get stuck in? But that's okay. Because, you know, the reason this cycle is happening to you, is because you've got some stuff in terms of work and your health that you need to look at. But the reason this cycle is happening is because this is something you have to do alone. Now, is this processing the stuff you need to process about work and about your health and about just how you're moving through life? Is this the energy for that? No. But at least you're alone here, which is a good first step, because if you were with someone right now, that person would definitely take you back here regardless of who they were, because you're just very susceptible to that right now. And working yourself out of it and really using this Mars energy to get yourself unstuck, right? Because it's not just stuck about one thing or two things. It's like you're just feeling stuck. And the urgency here, I can feel it. It's almost like whatever gets me there, just away from this, I gotta get away from it. And then you're confronted with yourself again, like, oh, damn. You know, and this takes you, pushes you back here. And then you get, and then, right? So really what needs to be looked at is how to get rid of this. And I think the way you use this cycle properly is when you get here, forget about this and look here, as this card always implies. Look here at the cups that haven't spilled, all right? Look at the cups that haven't spilled and realize that those are the cups that were meant to stay standing. All the other stuff that you invested in that didn't work out, it wasn't meant to work out. You can stand there and stare at it as long as you like. It's not coming back. But this stuff that is still standing, that is still there for you, that stuff is real. You know, this is often a card that comes up for me when people have been through a really hard time in relation to their friends. You know, who stuck around and who didn't. If you become so upset about losing popularity or losing stature that you get stuck there, you often don't see the people who are still standing behind you really supporting you. You know, taken quite literally, if he's very thirsty, how sad that he's looking at what's spilled because there's 2 cups behind him still. You know? And there's more than an abundant source of what he needs, right, flowing right there. He has everything he needs except the mindset. Do you see, Aquarius? You have everything you need except the mindset. And what does the mindset have to be? Focus on what brings you this. What is this? This is joy. This is celebration. Focus there. Stop focusing here. Stop focusing there. Stop focusing on the regret of having behaved this way or given into that behavior or abetted that behavior. Whatever you did, however you were a part of it, let it go. You know, you've got a pretty complex time coming up in terms of the planets and what they're doing. you're going through a huge process of just figuring out, you know, how you define things to yourself. How do you talk to yourself? In what language do you converse with yourself? Do you lie to yourself? Does the facade exist with you and yourself? When does this facade come off? Let's talk about the Magician card. The Magician is someone who shows you one thing, okay, but is by definition doing another. Does this mean that necessarily that the Magician is has a pejorative connotation, or that it's someone who's duplicitous by nature? Not necessarily. They may be showing you one thing and keeping your attention here while they're doing something with all these elements that they have access to for your good. They may not be doing anything to harm you, and yet still the nature of this being is that what he shows you and what he's doing are vastly different. So does this embody you, Aquarius? Is this what you're doing? Because if this is what you're doing, this is that time. June is that month where this cracks. And it needs to. There's no way for you to process what's been going on and learn how to care about yourself truly if you keep feeding yourself this. It's super easy to show other people this, and I get that, and I understand that for survival it's necessary, especially for your emotional survival, but this is also a very lonely spot, huh? One is a lonely number. And I think that facade is part of what keeps you lonely. We've talked about this before, being in the tower, being in the ivory tower, right? We've talked about how Aquarians can be distant just by nature. And this is kind of the card of distance incarnate. You know, this person is always keeping you somewhat in the dark. And when they do show you the light, it's manipulated, right? To get you to believe what they want. Now, either this is you in relation to you, or this is someone who's doing this to you. In either case, you must be complicit for it to continue. And I think June is that month where I feel, more importantly, that June is that month where physically, emotionally, psychologically, you just want health. You want to move forward and feel better. And let's not forget, the Capricorn card is the card of moving forward, pushing through, you know. And if you are, dear Aquarius, dealing with an earth sign or someone who is back and forth for you, and you feel that this person might be lying to you and not, you know, or still doing something else, or even though they seem like they're back around, you just can't trust because they've done this vacillating thing so many times, you're right. You're so right. You'll have to do all this work all over again if you give in to this energy, because this energy is not sincere. This energy is using you. This energy is itself trying to get away from something and wants that air sign boost. You know, that boost that we can give, especially earth signs, with our lively nature and our changeability and our joie de vivre, you know, whatever it is. This person is presenting to you something that isn't real. And they have their own agenda for why they're doing it. And I think that people like this also, you become more susceptible to people like this when you're in this mindset already and you're exhibiting this as your dominant emotion. You know, when this is your dominant emotion, the world is going to give you more swords to stick in your heart. If this is how you feel, like, it's not personal. The universe can only mirror back to you whatever your dominant emotion is. And this person brings with him or her the dominant emotions of pain and heartache, being misunderstood, having your heart be misunderstood, having your heart pained by someone's words and their thoughts, constant state of fighting, And then just very, very deep pain. Not the sort of pain where you numb out because you're dead. That would be the Ten of Swords. This is the kind of pain where you're not dead and you're not alive. This is the horrible, horrible pain of that purgatory, where you're just in endless amounts of pain and it doesn't seem like it's ever going to give up, but you also have still so much strength that you can stay here for a long time. That's not what we want, Aquarius, and it's pretty obvious that that's where this person takes us, okay? So let's see, in terms of an outcome, how does one deal with this energy now? I mean, that's pretty obvious, right? If you need to be, Aquarius, this energy to deal with that, do it. Obviously, there's some kind of circular, something that's keeping you trapped here with this person. And again, this doesn't have to be an earth sign. But if it is an earth sign Capricorn, I think you have your message very clearly here of what needs to happen. Right? And perhaps this is why you come up as this major arcana, very powerful card. Like, it's the universe saying you've got everything you need to kick this situation out of your life and move forward. But giving you everything you need, Aquarius, will not heal the emotional part of you that likes to hold on to stuff, that likes to hold on to a certain feeling, that likes to hold on to a certain person or thought, that likes to loop about things and obsess about them a little bit mentally. This is the month where you get to see in a very clean mirror how, when you don't focus on joy, your life starts to fall apart. Stop focusing here. Okay, now, the moderating influence of this energy comes in to kind of save you and show you the way. Where this person vacillates and doesn't really care about your feelings the way they should, and can sometimes even be purposefully mean and hurtful, this is an energy that you will either be surrounded by this month or that you will embody yourself. And that's someone who has an enormous amount of value for themselves and therefore cares for themselves physically and emotionally as someone who has a lot of value. As this energy transmutes this energy, right? What you come up with here is someone who's capable and has all the tools they need, and yet drops the facade and is very authentic and knows their value and doesn't feel any need any longer to put on the show. This is very positive. And from this place, you really can focus on what you want most, and what you want most is to be valued for all the things that you bring, but it's hard to value you no matter how obvious it is when you have this pervasive sadness, And look here, still. This pervasive sadness, this willingness to fight, right? Right under the soulmate card here, right under the Six of Cups. So to me, this is saying, you have to examine a greater pattern here of what happens when you get into this situation. Why does it necessarily bring this out of you that inevitably leads to this? Is it just the being challenged? Is it, being a strong person and not being able to have this person the way that you want them that frustrates you? It's something in you that when you get to this point, when you start to feel your value and you start to take your walls down and you get to this point, it's almost as if immediately, bam, there is this to take it away. And so what I would say is that perhaps what you should be working with here is the idea, at least for this month, making your dominant emotion that of emotional self-sufficiency. I've got to do this and figure this out for myself and find the value within myself and take care of myself and not let these distractions, destructive people get in my way. And I need to focus on what it is that I'm actually looking for and what it is that I'm actually wanting to go out there and find. Right? You want to get moving, you don't know how. You do know how. You got to put all this in the same file and delete it. This is where you are now. This is what we're doing. Take the things you've learned, process what you need to process, take care of yourself physically, and move forward. When you move forward, it will be with the momentum of knowing that you have everything you need, but also knowing that the only thing you really need is your value within yourself. This becomes a very attractive combination, okay, that brings you this. Now, will this be necessarily very easy? No. Will it move quickly into something that you can really, trust? Will it be easy? No. But can it turn into something that you very much value and trust, and it becomes a really important part of your life? Yes. So if you come across this person and you've already let this situation go and you come across somebody new, right? Or you come across the person that you have this deep connection with. Although your first instinct, for whatever reason, will be to challenge and fight, just remember where you end up with that. You end up there. It's funny because it's like most people want this and that's it. Okay, well, this is going to happen. Great. Awesome. That's all I needed to know. I'm going to meet the person I want to be with, or I'm going to fall in love. Okay, awesome. And it's like, this is a really important card, because just because you're seemingly going to get what you want doesn't mean that it's going to be fun. This is part of why you need to do this work alone. You need to realize that even though this is fun, at least this part of it, this is fun, it actually sucks because it makes you feel like that. This may be difficult. This may not be super easy. Okay? But what it leads to is real growth. And again, this is a process that you could be having within yourself. This doesn't necessarily involve another person. This could be you getting to know yourself in a way where you feel very victorious and loved finally because of you. Right? Even in that case, even if this is just you accepting you and seeing your value, your brain is going to fight you on it because your brain has been programmed to fight you on these positive messages. It will try to drag you back down here. But the way you stay in this new positive energy is, first of all, getting this out of your life. However, you need to justify that. But also, there is a value that needs to be understood here. There is a value in this, whether this is between you and yourself or you and another person. The value of this connection, that connectedness, which you may not necessarily feel as an emotion, but you do feel it, right? You have a passion for that kind of connection. Honoring this connection, honoring yourself in relation to this connection, honoring your talents and your value and all the things that make you you will keep this negative pattern from jump-starting. And as you move out of June, your focus is really, what makes me happy? And I think ultimately it's this, and you have a very good chance of having it here. But there are some hard truths and honest truths that you need to face about you and the people around you, and about your own tendencies to sabotage that which you want most, just because of the emotional fear. Okay? I'm glad we did that super intuitive, because it's just like, I really wonder what like is going on with Aquarians. Like, I don't know, you know? And that's really fun when what's going on for you planet-wise just ends up showing up in the cards. It's super satisfying for me. All right, so that was pretty good. That's a good reading. And now we get into some of the technical stuff, just in terms of dates and readings. I am doing one-on-one readings still over the phone and through video. You can still buy readings on my Facebook page at the shop, but I am going to put some caveats in there for all the new responses that I'm going to be sending out later today. And that is this, that if a reading for you is kind of like, you know, going on Zara's website and buying a t-shirt or a pair of pants and then it just shows up at your house and that's what it is, that's awesome. But then I think that it's probably better that you use a different reader, because my work is very much about keying into your energy, and I've just realized that that is not something that I can sustain on like a 9 to 5 clock. There's just no way I can do it. And so in the hopes of avoiding any further scheduling calamities, that just doesn't suit my nature. It's not my purpose. It's not my nature to, and I find it just pedantic. For those reasons, I will be tapering that out. Like, that's not going to be one-on-one readings. It's not something I'm going to be offering for very much longer until I have the right software and everything installed. And I also need time to work on my book that comes out in the spring, the first volume of the book that comes out in the spring, that will have a corresponding tarot deck called the Maharani deck, which will be based on Mughal artwork, Peacock Throne artwork. The Mughals were called the Peacock Throne, if you don't know. So there's that. I will be leaving a link, the 3 links to the Oakland talks below, and you can buy tickets through those links. I will be leaving Elma's information, my hairdresser, who's at Queen of Swords in Brooklyn. You can reach her on Instagram, or you can call the salon and make an appointment if you're into her work. How could you not be? And finally, I don't know if you've noticed a shift in my energy, or if you've been able to pick up on that. You guys are pretty observant when it comes to energy. Last month, I was feeling very, very agitated, and I didn't even voice it to anyone because I'm not the best at voicing my feelings, especially if it's some sort of a weakness. But Cynthia from Shinshaya Jewelers, my friend, reached out to me and made it clear that I was in need of some protection, and she made me this gorgeous protection mala, and I'm amazed at how much better I feel. But I think my energy and just how grounded I am is more proof than I could give. Although I can be very compelling, I think just my demeanor kind of says it all, right? So I didn't realize that energetic work done with stones for protection and stuff was something that people were still doing, like in the modern world like that. I find Cynthia's work to be so fascinating and so real. You know, I'm kind of amazed that I've gotten so lucky, because I really needed this. So thank you, Cynthia, once again for that. And yeah, hit her up if you feel like you need it, you know? So if you would like a reading, the email address, use the email address, please. If you would like to just hit me up, Instagram and Twitter is best, and Snap as well. And that's about it. I will see you in July. Bye, Aquarius. I love you.